Simply put, you couldn't ask for a more beautiful weather night than we have in downtown Cincinnati. Glorious indeed. Phillies and Reds round 3 of 4. They split the first 2 games of this series. Hi again, everybody. Alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Brian Giesenslaw, I'm Tom Brenneman. Delighted to have you with us for Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Let's get right to it. A lot of rumors. What's true, what's not true, who knows? We still have a handful of days left. But Matt Harvey has been a pretty good pickup for these Reds.
He really has, Tom. It was a slow start to begin with when the Reds got Harvey, but it seems like over the time period he has started to really get not only his arm strength back with velocity, but he's become very similar to the pitcher that we saw before. That was Freddie Freeman, and just put him away with a breaking ball. The thing that I like that I've seen from Harvey is not only the fastball and the breaking ball has been good, but he's been able to use his changeup as well. I think when you watch Harvey on the mound, he's aggressive. Not only does he have faith in that breaking ball and changeup, but you see Schwarber there swinging at a high fastball. That tells me that he's back.
Let's talk about Vince Velasquez. He will start it tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies. His 3rd start back since going on the disabled list. It was a very scary moment a few weeks back against Washington.
Yeah, he got hit with the ball on the right arm. He throws the glove down, picks it up. You notice he throws left-handed. He used to play center field throwing left-handed, but since he has come back, it has been with a vengeance. No more of messing around with that curveball. It has been fastball, slider, changeup, and the slider has been devastating.
And look at those numbers since coming off the DL. Not a single run allowed in 2 starts, 10 strikeouts against 2 walks. All right, when we come back, we'll check in with Brian down along the Reds dugout. Jose Peraza. What a nice season he's putting together. Brian has that and more on Fox Sports Ohio.
Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Skyline Chili, feeling good, it's Skyline time. And by Buick.
Hi there, I'm Local 12 meteorologist Brian Sherman. A nice day for baseball in Cincinnati. Upper 70s by the time we hit first pitch. It's a 6:40 first pitch down at Great American, and temperatures only dropping into the low 70s by the time we hit the final out with a mixture of clouds and stars. Lower humidity values. Enjoy the weather today as well as tomorrow before that rain arrives by early next week. And of course, go Cincinnati Reds.
Welcome back inside the ballpark. I'm Brian Giesenslaw. You know, he's the only Reds infielder that didn't make the All-Star team this season, but that doesn't mean that Jose Peraza isn't having a strong campaign as well. He is our IGS bringing the energy tonight. Peraza, look at his numbers since June 1st. How about top 3 in the league in hits, average, singles. Along the way, he had an 11-hit series, a 3-game series against the Cardinals just before the break. He reached base in 23 consecutive appearances, and he also leads the National League in most plate appearances per strikeout. He does not strike out often, and he gives Jim Riggleman some flexibility. He's hit everywhere from first, second, seventh, eighth in the lineup. He's back in the leadoff spot here again tonight at .290 on the season, but Jose Peraza fits in nicely with the other All-Stars on the Reds infield. Speaking of which, when we come back to Great American Ballpark, another day, should we expect another home run from Eugenio Suarez? That's the question. He's got 5 in a row.
Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Right-hander Matt Harvey making his 14th start for the Reds, his 13th career appearance and start against Philadelphia. He's had outstanding career numbers against this team, pitching inside the National League East, of course, against them with the New York Mets. Here's the lineup he'll be facing. And one addition you'll notice right from the get-go in that number 5 spot after Hernandez, Hoskins, Herrera, and Santana just acquired from the New York Mets. In the lineup at shortstop, Asdrubal Cabrera. Nick Williams will be in right, ladder third of Franco Velasquez, and the catcher Andrew Knapp. Really, if you take away the last start, by far his worst outing of the season in a Reds uniform, a Mets uniform, Harvey's numbers with the Reds have been better than those you see on the screen.
Well, the 5 starts previous to his last start where he gave up 8 runs and 4 home runs, he was 4-0 with a 1.86 ERA. And personally, I think everybody's allowed a bad start, and that was a bad start. He didn't have his best stuff. But the thing that you have to admire about Matt Harvey in that start, he wasn't trying to nitpick around the strike zone. He wasn't walking a bunch of guys. He was going right at him. He just didn't have it. And some days that's the case.
And that was his most recent start against the Pirates. That was that Sunday afternoon game when this homestand began right after the All-Star game. Reds come in 46 up, 58 down. The Phillies at 58 wins, 45 losses. Philadelphia sitting atop the National League East, 2.5 better than Atlanta. Braves have lost the last couple of days, 3 in a row, in fact, to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Washington Nationals are 6 back. Cesar Hernandez to lead things off. And it's strike one, and we're underway at Great American Ballpark. That's Alan Porter behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Nick Marley at first, Chris Guccione at second, and Bill Miller, the crew chief, the umpire, at third. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. Virtually no humidity. Temperatures in the very low 80s. It is just perfect out. 1-2 on Hernandez. Talked about the career numbers for Harvey. 12 starts. He is 7-3. His team is 8-4 with a 2.8 ERA against the Fightin' Phils. And in fact, his best outing this year while still pitching for the Mets was against Philadelphia, going all the way back to the 3rd of April. 5 innings of 1 hit shutout baseball.
And ultimately for Matt Harvey, as it has been the last 2 nights for Red starters, strikes the first time through the lineup. You have got to be able to pound the strike zone. If not, you're not going to be in there by the time you get to the 5th inning.
And that was the case last night with Anthony DeSclafani. He walked a couple of batters in the 1st inning, threw a lot of strikes. He struck out 7 in the first 3 innings. But then in the 5th, started falling behind, allowed 3 hits and a run, and he was jerked out of the game after 4 1/3 innings pitched. To the right side, Jeanette will wait on Votto. 1 out. We look at Cincinnati on defense, presented by Ford. Mason Williams, after the big home run last night, getting to start again out in right field. Infield, 3 All-Stars, and Peraza playing like one, and Tucker Barnhart hanging the signs again.
But with the early start tonight, Tom, I would imagine that the sun has a chance to play a part early in this ball game. You can already see Adam Duvall trying to figure out, how am I going to shield my eyes? Hamilton not only with the sun in his eyes, but the shadows from the light towers.
Rhys Hoskins has done major damage the first 2 games of this series. He had 2 home runs, 3 hits, including a double here on Thursday night, then had 2 hits, scored a run, knocked in a run last night. Harvey quickly ahead of him. No balls, 2 strikes.
There are quite a few folks from different clubs here to see Matt Harvey in person here tonight and see exactly not only the demeanor but also the physical tools on the mound, and that would be a step in the right direction.
Well, there are a lot of people who are going to be eating some crow when the numbers are said and done. And again, you can't take away the last start. But we showed you prior to that ERA well under 2, 4-0 record. There were so many, especially in New York, national writers and pundits saying that coming to Cincinnati would be the worst thing that could happen to Matt Harvey. Contrary has been the case.
It's been the best thing that could have happened to him. That last pitch was 97.
Yeah, he is seemingly resurrecting his career with the Reds. Seen an increase in that fastball velocity. He's lowered his walk and home run rates. And tonight could be his last start as a Red. You have the trade deadline looming on Tuesday, and we'll see how it plays out.
See,
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Herrera.
That's the pitch that has really come leaps and bounds for Harvey. 96 mile an hour fastball elevated. This next pitch is a 90 mile an hour changeup with the same arm action, and look how far out in front Herrera is.
Struck him out on a fastball at 98 miles per hour. Mercy.
Somebody's feeling good.
Yeah, good looking first inning for Mr. Harvey. Reds are coming up. Back last of the first inning, Matt Harvey with a 1-2-3 top half. And Jim Riggleman's starting lineup reads as follows. Peraza, Jeanette, Votto to start it. Suarez trying to make it 6 games in a row, would be a franchise record with a home run here tonight. Williams in right, the big home run last night, and Barnhart catching Duvall, Harvey, Hamilton against Vince Velasquez. Most recent start went through 7 for the first time in nearly a year. His last 6 starts, the ERA is 2.38, and opposing batters hitting in the 130s against Velasquez in their strike.
There was a lot of concern with the Phillies about Velasquez tipping his curveball, and they have asked him to go away from the curveball and throw more sliders. Reason being, when he was throwing his curveball, he was dropping his arm slot a little bit, still had good break, but guys were picking it up and either sitting on it or laying off of it. He wasn't getting the normal swings, and now that he's been fastball slider, well, he's not giving up anything.
14 straight scoreless innings he has fired since coming off the disabled list. We showed you that line drive injury. He took off the right forearm.
How about that throw he made left-handed?
It's amazing.
That was a bullet.
Sure was. You mentioned he used to throw left-handed.
He did. Played center field when he was coming up.
2 balls and a strike on Peraza. Down the left field line, and the beat goes on for Jose Peraza. What a year this young man is putting together. That is his 19th 2-base hit.
Interesting that the Phillies were playing him in left center field with Hoskins, and this ball is just smoked. When your third baseman leaps for the ball and it's already by him by the time his glove comes up, you know you hit it rather well.
This Reds infield may have some issues on defense, but in terms of swinging the bat, it's hard to imagine there's a better infield in this group right now. I mean, Votto's not having a big year. Of course, the second baseman, the third baseman are. And Peraza, that batting average just continues to rise seemingly by the day.
Well, Votto's on-base percentage has been right there with the other parts of his other years. Now, home runs, not so much. Average is down a little bit, but Peraza has come on. Suarez, as you mentioned, in Jeanette. Wow.
I mean, much is talked about with the home runs of Votto. It's really the extra base hits entirely. I mean, Peraza has nearly as many extra base hits as Votto. So the doubles are down, and the home runs clearly are down. But he's getting on base, and the guy behind him's not going to cover off the ball. One ball, one strike on Scooter.
It just seems like it's almost every day that Votto is on base, Suarez hits a home run, and they do the salsa dance over in the dugout, right in the on-deck circle before they head down to the dugout.
5 days in a row. Two and two on Scooter. Time was called by Jeanette and granted by the home plate umpire Alan Porter.
Well, you can check second twice and get away with it. You look back there a third time, more times than not, the guy at the plate is going to call timeout.
Tried that outside corner and missed it. Full count on Scooter. Struck him out on a high fastball for the first out of the inning. Canal storyline. Votto last night moving into sole possession for the most intentional walks in the history of the Reds franchise, one more than Johnny Lee Bench. That intentional walk came in the 7th inning last night. So Joey at 282, 9 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Votto so far to begin the second half on this homestand without an extra base hit. He has 3 hits and 20 at bats. He has walked 8 times. Has scored 3 runs. One to no to Votto, trying to get the Reds on the board. 1 ball and 2 strikes, a 95-mile-per-hour fastball again up in the strike zone.
You can see the idea that the Phillies have with Votto at the plate. It's almost similar to what you and I were talking about with the Cardinals pitching to Votto. They're trying to elevate the fastball and make him lift the ball into the air. You can see Knapp's glove behind the plate. It's not down around the kneecaps, that low target. He raises it. When you've got a catcher moving that glove up around the belt, that tells you they want the pitch up and they want it to ride away from the hitter.
Got him on a slider. Back-to-back strikeouts after a leadoff double by Peraza, and it's up to Suarez, who now tries to stand alone with a home run in 6 straight games.
All of the glove placement by Andrew Knapp, the catcher for the Phillies here tonight, to Votto, up, holding the pitch, holding the glove up. The last pitch, he's holding it right down around the kneecaps. That slider. So when he's got his glove down low, looking for the slider, up, fastball up.
All right, here's Suarez. All eyes will be on him throughout the entire night. Only one other player in Major League Baseball this year has homered in 6 straight games, and we saw him come to Cincinnati when that streak was snapped the day before. That was Chris Carpenter, or Matt Carpenter, of the St. Louis Cardinals. Ball 1. Some of the names in Reds franchise history, going 5 straight games with a home run. Some big names. Big names.
It's one thing when you've got a guy coming in that's hit 5 home runs and then he plays you the first game. It's another thing when he's hit back-to-back home runs against you in back-to-back nights to get to 5. That makes you think a little bit if you're Vince Velasquez, because you've seen the ball get out of here in a hurry.
And we've seen a lot of home runs in this series already. Of course, in the first game of the series, the teams combined for 9. The Phillies tied a franchise record 7 of the 9. Fastball up.
It's one thing for me to tell you that I'm going to slap you in the face real hard and you can think about that. It's another thing to feel the slap in the face. That's a whole different category. And the Phillies have felt it a couple of nights.
Well, Suarez is really taking all the drama out of keeping the streak alive. He's homered in his first at bat in each of the first 2 games of this series. First inning on Thursday, leading off the second inning here last night. This one will stay in the yard. Cabrera looking into the bright sunshine, a leadoff double, and Peraza never moves. 1 hit, 1 left, end of 1, no score. be at bat today. Little Paul Simon at the ballpark tonight. Big league tune.
I like it.
Kodachrome. Big league tune.
Little Nikon camera.
Boy, it's some song.
Well, both pitchers have come out here in the first inning, Harvey and Velasquez, establishing the fact that they are going to challenge the individual hitters.
First pitch fastball to 95 right down the can, fouled away by Carlos Santana.
Well, you don't see Santana swing at the first pitch too often. At least not in this series.
Cardinals beat up on the Cubbies again today. That's 2 in a row. 6-2 the final. St. Louis winners over Chicago.
Cardinals have made almost wholesale pitching changes, bringing 3 or 4 guys up from their Memphis AAA club. One of them, former Mississippi State kid Dakota Hudson, who was dealing. First round pick, I think, a year and a half ago.
Wow. Two and two on Santana. Next will be Asdrubal Cabrera making his Philadelphia Phillies debut here tonight. Came over in that deal from the New York Mets. It was announced yesterday, just before the game got started. Cabrera has been playing second base this year for the Mets. He has spent the overwhelming majority of his career playing shortstop. Pull to the right side. And Scooter will throw out Santana. Cabrera has played over 1,000 games at shortstop.
That was with the Indians for the most part, right?
Yeah, most of the time. He's been a good player for a long time.
All I know is dude can hit. It really doesn't matter if it's from the right side or the left side. He can swing it a little bit.
Two-time All-Star. Played in nearly every game for the Mets this season. 18 home runs, 58 knocked in, nearly a .280 batter. Mets got a young right-handed pitcher in exchange for Cabrera.
Well, these guys were former teammates, Harvey and Cabrera.
Yes, indeed. Both beginning this season, in fact, as teammates with the Mets before Harvey traded here, and now Cabrera to Philly. Of course, Cabrera's already come into Great American Ballpark this year. Mets have already been here. Reds will go there on their next road trip to New York. He had 2 hits and 12 at-bats when the Mets were here earlier.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at the numbers for Cabrera, and I've always thought that he had a great approach as a hitter, but here at Great American Ballpark, he's a career .202 hitter. That, to me, would be hard to believe. This hitter's ballpark. Ooh.
And he's been here a lot of games.
Yes.
Of course, the Reds and the Indians playing a home-and-home series every single year since interleague play began. Next year, the Reds will play the American League West. The Reds are going to log a lot of miles in the air next season. A lot.
Seen some awfully good changeups here in the early going from Matt Harvey. He may want to come with another changeup here. Barnhart gave him slider fastball on both sides of the plate.
Got him with a fastball up in the strike zone. 5 in a row retired by Harvey to begin the game, and he has struck out 3 of the 5.
This ball had quite a bit of movement. Started close to the hands and just takes off up and away.
Now Nick Williams, he has hit the ball very hard in the first 2 games of this series. Went 0 for 4 last night, but hit 2 lasers at the right fielder. In the first game of this series, he had 4 hits, 2 singles and 2 home runs.
Well, there has not been a game in a Reds uniform at any time where Matt Harvey has thrown the ball from 95 to 98 with his fastball. He's doing that here in the early going here tonight. I would think that would bode well for the Reds.
See that sign about the Scott Schebler bobblehead night on August the 18th. Kind of curious tonight that, you know, you've got Schebler down at AAA Louisville. He's been down there DHing. He's played the first 3 days, and he is not playing tonight. Now, you hope that's not something that is ominous in terms of, you know, re-aggravating that shoulder injury at all. Williams has gone on strikes. Brian Giesenslaw will have more on that when we come back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. What a start for Harvey. 4 punch-outs, 6 in a row retired.
From AAA Louisville is Jim Riggleman said earlier today the entire reason and the thing that they continue to watch with Schebler working at AAA is just his throwing. Yes, he's been the DH the last 3 nights for the Bats and been just fine. The only reason he doesn't play tonight is because he's working a throwing program before the game. Jim Riggleman said as soon as he feels right throwing the ball with the shoulder, he'll tell us, and that's when we'll know he's ready.
Well, Mason Williams is trying to make the most of it, Brian. And last night, with a 2-2 score, hit a 3-run home run. And how about that? Served into center field, a base hit his first time up tonight. Schebler might want to pick up the pace.
Make the most of your opportunities when you are afforded those opportunities. There are guys that have come to the big leagues and couldn't do anything in AAA. They get up here and put together a month's worth of awfully good games, and they never leave. Because let's face it, this is the level where it matters.
Williams at one time was a big stolen base threat. back when he was ranked as the #2 prospect in the New York Yankees organization after they took him in the 4th round in June of 2010. I mean, he came right out at stolen base years of 28, had another of 19, 21. But really, ever since 2015, he never runs at all anymore. Until last year, when he wound up back at AAA for the Yankees, he picked the pace back up again and had 19 of them. That ball is blistered into right center field, really well hit. And up against the wall, which will enable Williams to be waved around. RBI double by Tucker, and the Reds a 1-0 lead.
A very fortunate bounce for the Reds. A lot of times, if that ball catches the warning track, it's going to bounce right over that Toyota sign. This ball hits closer to the wall, and it actually catches the wall on the way up, stays in the ballpark, allowing Williams to score all the way from first base.
So that ends a string of 15 consecutive scoreless innings for Velasquez. Reds touch him up for a single and a double to begin this 2nd inning, and now Adam Duvall. Barnhart's starting to tune that bat up again. That's now a base hit for Tucker in each of his 7 starts since the All-Star break. That ball hooked into left field. They will hold Tucker Barnhart at third base. So Duvall a base hit. 3 straight hits for the Reds to start this 2nd inning.
Breaking ball from Velasquez. And this comes after Duvall took a fastball right down Broadway that was 90 miles an hour. Did not appear to be that bad of a breaking ball, but when you take a fastball that's right down the heart of the plate at 90, that tells me you're sitting on something besides my fastball.
Harvey, without a hit as a Red, he'll be asked, I'm sure, to move Duvall along. Not only is Harvey 0 for 26 as a batter with the Reds, he had 2 hits with the Mets very early in the year, but he only has 1 sacrifice all year. And still only has 1 sacrifice. Let's look at Philadelphia on defense, presented by Ford. Same outfield we've seen the first 2 games of this series. Now for a third, the addition of Cabrera to this roster. And in the lineup at shortstop from the get-go.
First start we've seen from Andrew Knapp in this series. We've seen him come off the bench in both of the first 2 ball games. And this is actually the first time that we've seen Gabe Kapler put the pitcher in the 8th spot. Now that's commonplace in the Reds lineup, but first time we've seen it from Gabe Kapler, at least in these 2 ball games.
Infield about halfway in. They know that Hamilton is extremely tough to double up, and you do have the catcher running down at third. Ball 1.
See, this is, I talk about this so many times, Tom. If you can bunt the ball hard to the right side of the infield, you may bunt for a hit. You'll definitely get the run home.
They're on the corners with one out. Reds trying to add to this 1-0 lead. Close pitch, but ball 3.
No.
Three balls and a strike on Billy Hamilton. And the pause, and here it comes, and that's another strike that appeared to be out of the strike zone. Wow.
You could see Knapp try to snap that ball back. Even Knapp knew it was a ball.
3-2 now on Hamilton. And when it's in that area, you've got to go ahead and swing the bat. That was in the same spot the last two were in. Both called strikes, so protecting the plate is Hamilton.
And I understand that the ball is moving away from Hamilton, and maybe that's catching the front corner of the plate, but it does not appear to be catching the front corner of the plate.
3 balls and 2 strikes once more, and Hamilton infield way in now. Billy able to foul it off once more.
And that was definitely ball 4.
Billy was so hot there for about a 3.5-week time frame, and now has fallen back into an extended slump.
3 for his last 24.
Well, he has Barnhart running over at third. Duvall held on by Santana at first. 1 out, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Billy. And they're going to come to the plate and easily retire Barnhart. 2 down. I don't know why you go there. I mean, you have no chance to score on this ball. And you don't have to run.
Well, it did not appear that that was a break on contact, because you could see Barnhart pause for a moment and then break to the plate. If you have to pause and you know the guy's going to catch it, let's go back to third. Heat of the moment.
Now Peraza, he doubled leading off the Reds' first inning and wound up dropping anchor right there at second base when Velasquez really got down to work. Struck out Jeanette and Votto and got Suarez on a fly ball to center to end the inning. First and second, 2 outs.
Well, if Peraza hits that same double here, it's a 2-run double. Because you look at Rhys Hoskins, he is playing on the center field side of the 379 sign in left center field.
It's a ground ball right at second, and the inning is over. So the Reds do score. They miss a chance for more, stranding 2. We move to the third, and the Reds with a 1-0 lead.
Town, New York on its Hall of Fame weekend, and we offer congratulations to this year's award winners and to the 2018 National Baseball Hall of inductees and their families. That would be Jack Morris, Chipper Jones, Alan Trammell, Trevor Hoffman, Vlad Guerrero, and Jim Thome inducted this weekend.
Yeah, that is some kind of class going in town this weekend into Cooperstown to the Hall of Fame. Just some incredible players. Of course, every class would be made up of incredible players. This group, there are many fans, Cowboy of this generation and the generation prior that got to watch all of them play or pitch. I'm just so glad that Alan Trammell is finally getting in. I mean, he's been a Hall of Famer forever. And to wait that long, Jack Morris, the same kind of thing, it's good for them.
I've always thought those guys were Hall of Famers. But I think the guy that, in my mind, that I'm probably hold the most admiration is Trevor Hoffman. He was a shortstop coming up. Got picked out of the Reds organization. They transitioned him to a pitcher late in life. He transitioned himself from a thrower, fastball, curveball to a pitcher by coming up with that changeup on his own, and he did it before he started losing the velocity on his fastball. So what it ultimately ended up happening is, even as the velocity of the fastball went down, the changeup got even better.
And always a really good guy.
Tremendous
Just good guy. Really pleasant man. Second only to the great Mariano Rivera.
And Trevor, playing in San Diego the majority of his career, he did not get the same type of notoriety that you would get playing in New York. And I'm sure there's two schools of thought on that. Well, would he have done as well pitching under that kind of pressure? I think that he would have, because I thought he was a gamer from the get-go. And Rivera gets a lot of accolades from pitching into the playoffs, but they're in the playoffs every year.
Every year.
It's kind of old hat. And I'm not taking anything away from Mariano Rivera. He's bona fide stud. But I think Hoffman deserves what he's getting here today.
Well, no doubt about that.
This year.
Well, you saw the reaction of Velasquez, the pitcher. He thought he was out on strikes 2 pitches ago. He was starting to turn around and go back to the dugout. It was called a ball. 3-2. And he's hanging in there ever since.
Well, if the strike zone was the same for Velasquez as it was for Billy Hamilton, he would have been called out on strikes.
Well, he's really making Harvey work. You can make an argument that he's made Harvey work harder than any other player in this lineup so far tonight. Harvey making quick work out of everybody thus far. 7 in a row retired. Jeanette to his left, and the sidearm flip to Votto in time. 8 straight retired by Harvey here tonight.
Now that to me is just smart pitching, Tom. You got a pitcher at the plate. He's fouling off fastball after fastball. In my mind, if you're Matt Harvey, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to keep throwing a fastball. Sooner or later, he's going to put it in play. He's not that good of a hitter. Why would I take a chance on 3-2 to try to trick him with a slider? Then that would be dumb pitching. Trust your stuff.
Andrew Knapp, the catcher and number 9 hole hitter in the Phillies lineup tonight. First pitch fastball in there at 95, strike 1.
It almost seems like every batter that's come to the plate has started 0-1. And that would be because 8 of 9 have started 0-1.
Bottom fell out of that pitch.
That changeup has really been a weapon through the first 9 batters for Matt Harvey. And for the most part, the Phillies have really not seen Harvey's slider yet.
Straight away center field, hit very hard, but Hamilton there, and it's 3 straight perfect innings to start this one for Matt Harvey. Reds have given him a 1-0 lead. Thanks to our friends at Klosterman Bakery. You can get half-price tickets. We have mascot races, face painters, so much going on. And tomorrow, kids 14 and younger get a team baseball card set thanks to Cons. We'll see you tomorrow, 1:10 start. I'd like to send out a big happy birthday wish to Jim Stewart. 2 days ago, this Korean War veteran and a die-hard Reds fan turned 79 years young. We understand Jim having a few little bumps in the road right now, but Jim, God bless you, young man. Thank you for your service, and a belated happy birthday to Jim Stewart. Reds begin this bottom of the third inning. First pitch swinging is Jeanette, and that's out number one. Votto coming up. Reds with a 1-0 lead.
Bumps in the road. Keep on pushing. Keep on fighting, Jimmy.
You got it. You got it. And when you're a veteran of any war, you know they'll keep on keeping on.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly salute all of those who have served, are serving, those who will serve. And always say thank you. Votto struck out on that slider from the Philadelphia right-hander his first time up. Jammed with this pitch and lofts it foul. 1-1 strike to Joey Votto.
And another slider there. That one got right in on his hands. More of a cutter type movement on that breaking ball.
See the shift put on defensively against Votto. And a 1-1 pitch. Ran in on him again. That time with a fastball to 93. Dodgers and Braves scoreless at the end of one. Likewise for the Nationals in Miami. Diamondbacks, Padres, Brewers trying to make it 3 straight over the Giants tonight out in San Francisco. Brewers with a chance to pull within a half game of the division lead after the loss earlier today by the Cubbies. Now that was the same pitch it was called a strike to Hamilton. Identical location.
A lot of times, as you saw that pitch from Velasquez, you're trying to drive the ball in under a left-handed hitter's hands as a right-handed pitcher. If you get to the side of the ball and try to force it in there, the ball's just going to run back. You have to stay on top and you have to stay closed a long time.
Votto draws the 1-out walk. First walk issued by either pitcher tonight.
As soon as the front shoulder opens, you can see the ball come out of the side of the hand. Up and away, back-to-back pitches where Velasquez is trying to get in on Votto. It's almost the opposite of conventional thinking. You think, well, if I'm going to throw the ball on that side of the plate, I really have to open up early to get it over there. Not the case. You have to stay closed with the front shoulder longer to let your arm catch up so you can drive it that way and get it on the left side of your nose if you're a right-handed pitcher. I think now would be a good time to go ahead and get that 6th.
Why not? Get a fly ball
on
to center his first time up. That's right. A home run in 5 consecutive games for Eugenio Suarez. Started 2 and a liner right into the Reds dugout. Better be alive down there. I think it's Don Long.
Well, if you're the cameraman right there, you're at the mercy of just being fortunate or not.
And yes, the cameraman down there, his name is Tom Seaver. Suarez, another unsure swing, rolls out to the second baseman with Votto advancing. There's
You're,
Thomas threw a no-hitter, you may remember, for the Reds. Well done, Tom. Well done.
You're looking into that eye hole as you're doing the camera, but your forehead is above, it's unprotected. I wonder if they've ever thought about helmets. Maybe like a little hat that would have a little protection in it for the guys that are that close, first and third.
Tell you what, I don't understand why they wouldn't.
I mean, they're just as close as the pitcher is, pretty much. I mean, you're maybe a little bit further, but.
And of course, baseball made it mandatory a number of years ago. Now it's commonplace where the base coaches have to wear helmets.
Right.
Oh, and 1 the count on Mason Williams, who singled his first time up. 1 hopper at the second baseman, and that's all. A walk to Votto. We've played 3, Reds 1, Phillies nothing.
At the ballpark Friday, August 10th. Cheer on the Redlegs when they take on the Diamondbacks. Plus, stick around after the game for a spectacular fireworks show presented by Great American Insurance Group. For tickets, go to Reds.com. We had the Elvis-themed fireworks last night. Never disappoints. And now we're back at the ballpark. Matt Harvey back to work with a 1-run lead.
The King was here last night.
Oh, he was at the postgame set.
I know that. Did you get a chance to visit with him at all, Brian?
A little bit.
A little bit. Looked like he was in a really good mood last night.
Hey, his team won.
That's exactly right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
9 up, 9 down for Mr. Harvey so far. Is he back again tonight? He's back again tonight. Look at him. Got it going on. The King.
I like
busy weekend.
I like that windup. A hunk of burning love.
His temperature's definitely rising.
Ashley took the kids to Graceland not long ago. Mason comes back. He says, "Daddy, why would Elvis have mirrors on the ceiling?"
And carpet on the wall.
And carpet on the wall. And velvet everywhere. I'm like, well, that's just how they did it back then.
That's right.
And I left it at that.
It's a sweet place.
Hell yeah.
Three balls and 2 strikes. And that's the first base runner of the game. for Philadelphia against Matt Harvey. 9 in a row retired prior to the leadoff walk to Hernandez. So now for the first time this entire game, and pitchers will take warm-up pitches in between innings working out of the stretch. But it's really the first time all night where he will actually pitch to a batter out of the stretch.
Well, he was pumping fastballs the first at bat here to Rhys Hoskins. Came with a slider there.
Stayed up in his zone.
Just enough to cut away from the barrel. Hoskins, the type of hitter you don't want to double up in the same location, whether it be fastball, breaking ball.
That ball is hammered into deep left center field, and that is a 2-run big fly by Hoskins. Boy, has he done some damage in this series. Wow. Hit 2 home runs in the opener, had 2 more hits last night, and now a 2-run home run to put his team ahead.
And you'll have to check out where this pitch is. It's not like it was up and out over the middle of the plate. Starts away, sinks down. But when you want the ball away and you've got a guy at the plate that can handle the inside pitch, you don't want it to run back in there.
Man, this Hoskins has turned it into a big-time player. That is 7 straight games now. He has an extra base hit. In fact, the Phillies have now gone 100 consecutive games with an extra base hit. That's the longest such streak in the major league. The next closest is 67. And that's a battling Detroit Tigers. We'll see them next week.
Yes, we will. In Detroit.
In the Motor City, Comerica Park, beautiful ballpark. That'll be a Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon game, and the Reds will play 4 games against the Nationals in D.C., followed by 3 against the Mets in New York. Then that long homestand coming back. Two and one on Herrera. He struck out his first time up. 3-1. So it's been walk, homer, walk after not allowing a base runner in the first 3 innings for Harvey.
And it appears Danny Darwin is going to head to the mound, the Reds pitching coach. You hear time and time again, Tom, from all of the evaluators and the number crunchers, second time around, third time around, this is when hitters start to see the ball better, start to swing better. That not only is a managing tool, but what it does is it starts to make the pitchers think a little bit more and try to change what their game plan is. The game plan that Harvey had working early in this ball game was about as good as you could work it. I mean, 9 up, 9 down, did not have a hit.
Well, let's see if he can start getting it back together here.
Change up, good pitch. And that's what Harvey was using early in the ball game, was the change up. He's gone to the slider here in this inning. Not to every pitch, but more so than he has the changeup.
Did it again. Get ahead of Santana at 0-2. Spins him around with a fastball high and tight.
And that's not a bad pitch after 2 changeups down and away. It's not close to hitting the batter. Just got to straighten him up a little bit.
And then you come with a fastball and he jumps all over it. Pulls it foul. Good crowd here tonight. Really big crowd.
No doubt.
By far the biggest the Reds have had on this homestand.
Biggest crowd that the Reds have had in some time.
Yep. Got the big post-game concert tonight. They had the big Joey Votto giveaway. Here's a pop-up long run for everybody, and Suarez going to get to it. That'll be the first out here in the inning. Of course, Cincinnati natives make up the band Walk the Moon. They'll be playing out on the field at the conclusion of this one. Had a real nice article about that band in the paper today. They love and very proud of their hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio.
That's not a sentence that you hear much anymore in the paper today.
You're right.
It used to be quite commonplace. More times than not. I read an article on the internet today.
Oh, that's right. Still nice to read the newspaper if you have the time to do it. It's still very enjoyable. Saw a couple of boats cruising along the mighty Ohio out there. Boy, what a good night for that too. Just perfect. Tell you take away a week here and a week there, and it has been an extraordinarily cool summer here in Cincinnati.
I would agree.
I mean, it's really been cool. We haven't had but really one or a pair of very short stretches where you hit even 90+ degrees. It has been 80-something pretty much all summer, and low 80s in a lot of cases. Foul out to the third baseman, second out of the inning. And that was after, on the heels, you may remember, of an extraordinarily frigid spring. Golly day, was it cold in the Midwestern part of America and the East Coast of America in March and April this year compared to
you and I felt the brunt of the blow, especially in Milwaukee that night.
Yes.
Or that late afternoon.
Oh yeah, that road trip, that first trip of the year through Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, where not a single game started with a wind chill above 25 degrees in April. Well, you're right, Milwaukee. That was a whole different animal. That's when they broke the all-time record for the most snowfall that late into a year in Green Bay. What did it snow, 30 inches? Something outrageous. Fastball up and away, 2-0 on Nick Williams.
Well, what was amazing about that game is we go into the ballpark. It was cold that day. We go into the ballpark, there's not a lick of snow on the ground. We come out some 4 or 5 hours later, you could barely move. It was everywhere and still coming down.
Oh, yeah, it stood you up when you got out there. That was the third week of April.
I don't think I've ever been in a spot where the ice was coming out of the sky where it actually hurt my head.
You're right.
As it hit it.
You're right. And you and I had to lug those bags and get to a cab.
Goodness gracious.
3-0 the count on Williams.
We don't have that kind of weather in Mississippi.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I know you wish you did.
No. We have hail every once in a while.
Right.
But you just pull your car into the garage.
Jam shot pop up. For those that may not understand that, would you like to say that again just in case? You pull your car where?
Into the garage. You know, that area that is on the side of your house, you pull it in and the door closes behind you. Most folks call it a garage or maybe a carport.
Garage.
Hall of Fame induction gala last weekend came when Johnny Bench walked across the room and interrupted an interview with Tucker Barnhart just to say that he believes Barnhart is one of the best catchers in the game. And believe me, that gesture by Bench caught Barnhart completely by surprise. As Barnhart's retired at first base, this was Barnhart reliving that conversation.
It left me speechless at the dinner, and to be honest with you, it still leaves me somewhat speechless now. To hear Johnny say something like that means a ton. He's obviously revered in this game, considered the best catcher ever. To hear him say that about you, it's pretty special.
You know, Bench said people ask him all the time, who are the great catchers in the game? And he said he just wanted to point out that he believes we have one of the best right here in Cincinnati.
I would concur.
And that's really very thoughtful of Johnny Bench to, to share that publicly. Not saying it's commonplace, but frequently, as a lot of us get older and guys that were on the field, I'm not going to say they're jealous of the younger generation. They're making a lot more money today than they were back then. But, maybe the compliments aren't as free-flowing as you'd like them to be. It's a nice move by Johnny. Well, Velasquez starting to get it together a little bit here. He allowed the 3 base hits to begin the second inning, leading to a run. Reds had runners on the corners with nobody out, leading 1-0. They did not score again. He walked a batter in the third, Votto, but 3 straight ground balls into second baseman Hernandez since that walk.
Well, there's no doubt through the first 3 innings of this ball game that the Reds have had the more scoring opportunities than the Phillies.
Yeah, they had a leadoff double by Peraza in the first inning. He never moved from second base. We mentioned the second inning. Duvall singled his first time up. Started two and laid off the slider.
But when your one hit in the ball game is a home run, that usually helps you a little bit. Looks like Velasquez is going to the curveball a little bit more here the second time through the lineup.
Three and two on Adam. Second walk given up by Velasquez. Both of them have come with one out in an inning. But now he'll face Harvey and then the number 9 hitter Hamilton. Harvey does not look comfortable in the least bit as a batter or a bunter. 0 for 27 as a Red, and does not have a sacrifice with the Reds.
Well, if you get the bat out in front of you before you bunt, that way if you do have a tendency to bring it back, you're still on the same plane with the ball. If you hold it back close to you and you bring it back, you drop the bat head. There we go.
Good, nice job there. And there is his second of the year. First is a Red, advancing Duvall, the tying run into scoring position. 2 down in the inning for Billy.
Had the bat a little further out in front that time. All you're trying to do when you're bunting is catch the ball with the fat part of the bat. If you can do that, more times than not, you'll get the bunt down.
Reds got some disappointing news just a little while ago. You know, rookie Davis, he was part of that deal with the Yankees for Aroldis Chapman. He had hip surgery. He had been on a 60-day disabled list, but had started his rehab. But because of both the recurrence of his right hip injury and, further alarming, now discomfort in his right arm, they're going to shut him down again, and really he is the last man standing. Well, that trade for Aroldis Chapman.
I would say right now I'm not overly concerned about the arm issue, because when you have a hip issue, you're not able to throw a whole lot. So when you come back, you're going to get some soreness. You're going to get some fatigue. It's only natural that it would come quickly. You slow it down a little bit, especially when you come back trying to really get after it.
Billy with a base hit into right center field. And this will tie the game. Hamilton an RBI single on an 0-2 pitch.
Atta baby. Tried to get the ball up away from Hamilton. It stays down and middle, and Billy hit it like a bullet.
So Hamilton able to deliver. And now back to the top already for the third time for Jose Peraza. We're only in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Now how good does that bunt look by Matt Harvey?
Of course, you have to get on base to be able to then steal bases, and for the longest time Hamilton was having a hard time getting on base, and he had a stretch where he was getting on a lot but just wasn't running. He's been sitting on 22 stolen bases for quite a while. And from what we have seen from Jim Riggleman as a manager, he does not appear to be much of a hit and run manager. Because there have been multiple times where you have this combination, and Peraza, who strikes out infrequently more than any other batter in the National League.
And they give him a huge hole on the right side of the infield.
And we've just not seen it. Now, it's not like it's happening all the time because Hamilton has been slumping.
I just think this is a great spot for Hamilton to take second base. Worst case scenario, he gets thrown out. You've got your leadoff batter to begin the following inning. If he does get to second, you've got a guy at the plate that can handle the bat.
Billy may have tweaked something there, reaching back after overrunning the bag. He's not had a stolen base since July the 9th. And that's when the Reds were in Cleveland, 2 series before the All-Star break.
It looked like he hit the bag funny with his foot. That allowed it. That actually made him trip over the bag as he was coming back to the bag after that last pitch. There was a little bit of tenderness or a little bit of limp going back to the bag.
Well, he's still limping around over there. Yeah, his foot actually hit short of the bag, the right foot. Then he almost stumbled over top of it. And Santana kept the tag applied, and they'd have had him. 2-0 on Peraza.
Alan Porter's got a pretty good arm back there behind home plate. The home plate umpire here tonight.
Well, he's in some kind of shape, I can tell you that.
A little snap throw back to Velasquez.
You know now on Peraza. Four-pitch walk with Hamilton on at first. And now the pitching coach, Rick Krenitz, will come out and chat with Velasquez, who, well, you put runners on base against this guy, and I mean to tell you, the entire flow of the game is just at the speed of a glacier.
It's almost as though for Velasquez, when guys get on base, he begins to overthink what exactly he should do, how he should pitch, what pitch he should make. For me, I think your pitcher should always be pitching one pitch ahead, thinking one pitch ahead. You should know what you're going to throw by the result of the previous pitch.
A couple of walks and a 2-out single by Hamilton has produced a run. And now the Reds trying to recapture the lead. They had a 1-0 lead. Philadelphia in the top of this fourth, getting a 2-run home run by Hoskins. Reds have tied it, looking for more. Jeanette has been money with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this year, a .340 batter.
Well, that outside corner to the left-handed batters has been awfully generous from Alan Porter here tonight. And Andrew Knapp, the Phillies catcher, continues to set that way, knowing he's getting that call off the plate. And that's one of those things as a pitcher you've got to pick up on. I mean, right now, if you know he's going to continue to give you that pitch out there, you don't have to go inside for a strike. You just throw it in off the plate and you go right back to that little 3-inch sinker off the plate. Looked like Velasquez tried to backdoor a breaking ball right there, and it came out of his hand a little bit early, and just a cement mixer off the outside corner.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Jeanette. Down the left field line and in fair territory. Hoskins has it to end the inning, but the Reds tie it. 2-out single by Billy. 2-2 game. PHI Wednesdays by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report.
Did you say something about pie?
Free PHI Wednesdays at O'Charlie's. Now, as we begin the top of the 5th in this 2-2 game.
Do you have to buy anything, or can you just go in there and get a free pie?
I think you have to buy something, would be my guess.
I'm just checking.
When you buy a meal, is my understanding, you get a free pie. So if they were to have every kind of pie there is, Cowboy, imaginable, and I'm going to take out, just for the sake of argument or debate, say they don't have fried chicken pie, okay? So if they don't have that, I mean, whether it's pecan or apple or cherry.
Lemon icebox.
Lemon icebox pie.
Yeah. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of lemon pie.
Lemon icebox. That's a southern thing.
So I assume that's one you keep really cold, like freezer cold?
You got it.
Well, that sounds good. Franco pops it up. So it would be stupid for me to ask if you would like that pie a la mode because it's already cold. See, I was going to ask you if you had pecan or apple or cherry. Are you like an a la mode guy?
With a lemon ice box, you can either have a meringue or, the way I like it, you put a boatload of whipped cream on the top.
Yes,
of it.
yes.
And I'm talking a boatload.
That one lined hard into right center field, and Williams couldn't hang on. Almost made an incredible catch. And I mean to tell you, his body slammed into that wall at full speed. Almost had it.
Wow.
Good effort.
That had to hurt a little bit.
Talking about his dad playing in the NFL.
Oh my goodness, that was a phenomenal effort by Mason Williams. You talk about sacrificing your body to make a play. That would be on the reel.
Man. Almost right off the very heel of the glove.
Great effort. Great effort.
Young man back into big leagues, getting a chance here for the Reds. Had a big home run last night, already a base hit tonight, and nearly the spectacular there. All right, now the pitcher. Trying to bunt the runner down to third. Franco does not run well. You'd really like to see the Reds play this very, very aggressively.
Velasquez is going to try to bunt this ball. Well, he's supposed to bunt it to third base. He did not look very confident there.
He has 3 of them on the year.
There are a lot of times where you've got a pitcher at the plate where you know you're going to bunt to third. You put a wheel play on, which is the shortstop fakes like he's going to go behind the runner at second. He breaks to third. You run aggressively with Suarez to the plate, and the play is going to be at third no matter what. But it all depends on the speed of the base runner. And right now the Reds don't have, well, they really don't have anybody charging. They're playing in, but not aggressively on top of the bunter.
Pulls the bat away and takes a strike.
How many times have we seen opponents when the Reds are bunting? Matt Carpenter, when we were playing the Cardinals, was standing. He was almost in the dirt at home plate running in with the pitcher bunting.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take this off and let him hit. He has 6 hits now. He's in square. And he strikes out. That was a foul ball, but it's strike 3.
Heads up play by Barnhart. You never know.
Say the art of bunting by pitchers in this league has completely gone to the tank. I mean, what else do pitchers have to do? Starting pitch, what do you do besides run and throw one time in between starts? What else do you do?
Look, you're preaching to the choir.
I mean, I'm not being overly critical here. That's a legitimate question. You pitch every 5 days. You throw one time in between starts. The rest of the time, you're building up your leg strength and building up your conditioning. And I mean to tell you, whether it's Reds pitchers with the exception of Homer Bailey, he gets cut some slack. He's been a good bunter.
Always
but for the
has,
rest, always has been. For the rest of them, not worth a hoot. And all the teams the Reds have seen this year, by and large, none of them are any good at it either. Now, some people say, well, you know, why do you ever bunt to begin with? Well, there's certain times you got to put down a bunt. That's right. You got to put down a bunt. You get a leadoff double. Pitcher's got to get the guy to third.
There are just not that many Michael Lorenzens that pitch. And I'm talking about a guy that can legitimately swing the bat and give you a great at bat. And with that being said, if you're scared of the ball, or you're scared that the ball might hit your right hand, your money hand, you're not going to be a very good bunter. It's just the way it is.
Sounded like a broken bat it was.
Well, Knapp is really choked up on the bat. He's trying to slap the ball just beyond the infield. And that's one of the reasons he's hitting in the number 9 spot. He's got some pretty good speed for a catcher. I might even think about bringing my left fielder Adam Duvall in a bit, just to make sure I get a chance to make a play at home plate, if indeed he does dump it out into left field, as he's trying to do that with the best of them.
Two and two to count on Knapp. Chokes up even maybe another inch or two on that bat. And here it comes from Harvey, just missing.
Now that appears to me to be a bona fide strike. But as a pitcher, if you know the umpire is not going to give you leeway on the inside corner, you use that as a weapon to go back down and away and run it just off the plate. Of course, it's 3-2 now.
Had a good cut there.
And that's what Harvey tried to do there. You go in, make him think about it a little bit. It was an awfully close pitch.
And the pitches are starting to pile up for Harvey. Closing in on 90, and we're only 1 out into the 5th inning.
And it's not as though he's walked a whole lot of batters. He did walk 2 batters in the 4th inning. He's been very aggressive within the strike zone, but the Phillies have done a good job of battling and fouling pitches off.
Which is what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. We talked about it before the very first pitch of this series on Thursday night. They seemingly 5 games a week. The opposing starter will be around 100 pitches in the 5th inning, and then they just start wearing out the weaker links in the bullpen. Perfect example here, Knapp. I mean, this is a number 9 hitter, and this guy refuses just to make the out, at least so far. 88th pitch of the game for Harvey, and another foul ball.
Well, I think as a hitting coach, regardless of what team that you're with or what level that you're at, you're trying to convince your hitters, regardless of the score, never give up an at bat. It could mean the difference between 299 and 300. It could mean the difference between 249 and 250. Never give up an at bat. Now, that takes a lot of mental tenacity to be able to fight that, especially when you have a game that's out of hand.
Well, they're finally going to get him out. That was a 9-pitch at bat for Knapp. Down to third goes Franco. And that's why you talk about that pitcher getting the runner over. With the infield drawn in, which they would have been there with the number 9 hitter at the plate. As hard as that ball was hit, there was no way that the Reds would have been able to make a play on that ball with the infield in. That'd have been a base hit to drive in the go-ahead run. One more out to go for Harvey, and here's Cesar Hernandez, who twice has worked full counts, once grounding out to Jeanette, and the other time drawing a walk scored on the home run by Hoskins. Strike one. He went around at 0-2.
Pretty good slider right there, right up under the hands. It starts right at the angle of the previous fastball. Hernandez trying to get the bat head to it, and the bottom falls out of it. Oh, come on. Tucker Barnhart saying no, 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 no. The hitter, Hernandez, did not even move. That ball didn't hit him.
Nope, they're going to look at it, and they're going to bring Hernandez back to the plate.
Reds fans already all up in arms. You can almost see the elbow of Hernandez start to move down toward the ball. Got that big pad on that right elbow. You can see him kind of move it down as if to push it towards the baseball, but ball was a good 3 inches underneath that front elbow. This shouldn't take 5 seconds.
They're going to bring him back.
In the defense of Alan Porter, what he's listening for is a tick or something along that line. May have heard something. Could have been from the stands. Could have been from the movement of Barnhart to reach for the baseball. But they get it right.
Runner at third, the go-ahead run, 2 outs, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Hernandez. Straight up in the air. Justice is served. They bring back Hernandez, who pops up to Hamilton. And after a leadoff double, Franco stranded at third. We're even at 2. Tomorrow we call it Sign Sunday. Your chance to make your signs to support the Redlegs and be part of our Reds live telecast. See that Toyota sign out there, you know what that means. It's our Toyota home run inning. If a player whacks one off that sign tonight, Sharon Spannenberg from up in Hamilton will win that Tundra. Thanks to your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers.
And right around looking good.
Had a win earlier this year.
Yes. Was that Jesse Winker that hit that ball? I think it was.
Yeah, it was. Routed foul by Joey Votto, and we had an interview with her in the stands that night. Brian, did you do that interview with her? I'm trying to remember. Were you working that night?
That is correct.
I thought it was you. Well, she was so excited, wasn't she?
Yeah, and remember, she had just signed up a few days before and didn't even realize that's what she had registered for.
Right.
You know, sometimes it works out that way.
Yeah, that's right. That was a great story. Votto just serves one into left center field, and Joey with his first hit tonight, just his fourth hit on this homestand. So the leadoff man aboard in this 2-2 game in the Cincinnati fifth inning.
Three of the 5 innings now, the Reds have had their leadoff batter aboard. Got to make it hurt.
All right, Suarez 0 for 2 tonight. Still looking for a home run in what would be a 6th straight game. No Red has ever done that. He's down strike 1. And you can tell he's either not seeing the ball well against Velasquez just based on his first 2 plate appearances and even that swing.
That was a hanging breaking ball. Looked like he was jumping just a little bit on that pitch.
Got beat with a fastball there.
Better swing, though. The toughest thing to do, Tom, is if you're thinking about hitting a home run, that's the most difficult time to hit a home run. If you're thinking about hitting the ball hard, that's when the home runs come.
One ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes on Suarez. The breaking ball stayed high. After getting ahead 0-2, it's now gone full.
This is where Suarez can really be dangerous if you try to throw a breaking ball for a strike on a 3-2 pitch.
Threw him a breaking ball, but it stays high, and another walk. That's 4 of them for Velasquez. And the first 2 aboard here in the Reds' 5th inning. When you look around at these Philadelphia defenders, I mean, they are almost borderline falling asleep watching this guy pitch. We talk about this from time to time when you see guys like Velasquez. If you really just pay attention to the defenders on the field, there's just no energy at all.
Well, it not only carries over to making errors on the field, it carries over as you get back to the clubhouse. There's no sense of urgency. There's no motivation when you've got a pitcher that takes forever to throw the baseball.
Wow. Williams looked like he put that bunt down on his own. We won't know for sure till later, but it had that look anyway. What do you think?
Perfect execution. Can't do it any better than that.
And just a half step short of beating that out. Getting up the line, Mason Williams. All right, so now it'll be Barnhart,
who is seeing the ball well tonight. Got a single, walked and scored in the 4th.
Phillies naturally will bring the infield in. Votto only has about a 2-step lead over there at third base, if that. Tucker, an RBI double to the deepest part of right center back in the 2nd inning. And then bounced out to Hernandez at second his last time up.
Well, if you're Suarez, your lead should be as far as Drupal Cabrera is playing at shortstop.
And shouldn't be the same for Votto down at third as far as the third baseman is from the bag.
Well, the only issue for Votto, not quite fleet of foot.
Votto is literally 2 steps off the third base bag. And even when he takes his secondary lead, he is no more than 4 steps off the third base bag.
Looks like the Phillies are getting someone loose in their bullpen.
Yaxel Rios. Four-pitch walk. Things look like they're coming undone here a little bit for Velasquez. His breaking ball's missing high with everything.
Well, that's 5 walks now.
Yeah, and 4 in the last 2 innings, and another visit to the mound by the pitching coach.
Well, I think this visit here is as much to give Rios a little bit of extra time to get loose. The luxury that you have if you're Gabe Kapler is the pitcher is hitting after Duvall. You've got 1 out in the inning. If you can provide a gut check pitch and get Duvall out, you've got a chance to get out of this inning if you're Vince Velasquez.
Well, the Reds are tied with the Boston Red Sox for the most grand slams in Major League Baseball. The Reds have had by far, and I mean it's a ton, more at-bats, plate appearances with the bases loaded than any team in Major League Baseball by a landslide. And here's yet another. Duvall himself, if you can imagine this year Duvall has come to the plate 18 times alone with the bases loaded. He has 8 hits and 2 grand slams. He's the only player on the team that has 2. Two-two game, bottom of the 5th inning. 1 out. And just like that, 0-2. Look at the number of plate appearances by the Reds with the bases loaded. 151.
That's a whole lot of first in the major league. I mean, that's major league rank.
Yep.
Well, Duvall hit a breaking ball, his base hit into left field, and it's been 2 fastballs here to get ahead for Velasquez.
Oh, boy, this is painful. The pitcher doesn't want to step on the rubber, and the batter doesn't want to get in the box.
Well, Velasquez is causing the issue. He is just taking a boatload of time, not only to get the sign, but also once he gets set.
Well, he just blew Duvall away. 3 straight fastballs.
And they were all in.
And now the Reds are going to hit for Matt Harvey. Harvey has gone 5 innings in this game tonight. He's allowed 2 runs.
Probably the best stuff that we've seen him have in a Reds uniform.
Question is, will it be the final time we see him in a Reds uniform? Sure, he's disappointed he's being taken out of this game. He only allowed 2 base hits. Herrera the batter. Dielson Herrera, strike 1. You surprised the hook here in the 5th in a 2-2 game?
No, because you're trying to do whatever you can to win ball games, and you get a base hit here, you've got a chance to give your bullpen some comfortability.
Well, the Reds have used a ton of that bullpen here in the last 2 days. They got 1 inning out of Malley here on Thursday night. They got 4 1/3 innings from the starter DeSclafani last night. You've got an injured Amir Garrett. You can't use Hernandez. He went 2 1/3 for you last night. At least more than likely you're not going to use him. Iglesias pitched an inning and a third last night. Hughes got 2 outs for you last night.
You've got Hughes, you've got Peralta, you've got Keuri Maya. And you've got Mike, well, probably not Lorenzen. Even though Lorenzen would probably tell you, hey, I can pitch
Oh,
tonight.
yeah, no doubt.
He probably went into Jim's office after the 4-inning outing and said, hey, I'm good to go today.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
That's just the mentality of Michael Lorenzen.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, 1 and 2 on Herrera. Started 2 again. 2-2.
Well, Herrera, more times than not, is on time with the fastball.
Inning over. 96-mile-per-hour heater. That's the second huge chance the Reds have missed in this game. We're tied at 2.
Best stuff we've seen him have in a Reds uniform. Fastball early in the ball game. Boy, did he have some giddy up. 97, 98. He did make a mistake over the plate to Rhys Hoskins, but he was able to come back immediately, keep his wits about him, ultimately getting up 2 pop-ups on pitches right on the hands of the batters. He's out after 5 innings, but not really because of the ineffectiveness of Harvey. I thought he threw the ball outstanding. But the Philly batters, they make you work, even when you're having a good night. And Harvey had a very good night here tonight.
Wandy Peralta pitches in the big leagues for the first time since June the 19th. That's when the Tigers were in town. He gave up 4 hits and 5 earned runs. He did not record a single out. And of course, this was a guy who was among the top left-handed relief pitchers in all of baseball right up until about September the 1st of last year, and probably just ran out of steam. He was used so often. But this year has had a hard time all season long, right from his very first appearance, of throwing the ball over the plate.
Command has been the issue. Last 4 appearances in AAA Louisville. Reports are got the ball back over the plate. Peralta's changeup has always been as good as it gets. Very good left-handed changeup. He's got a fastball that will reach 97. The slider has always been a work in progress, but fastball changeup, really, really good. And there it is.
Part of the order for the Phillies, Hoskins has been a one-man wrecking crew in this series. 3 home runs. His next hit will be his 7th hit of this series.
And you can see on that last pitch, Hoskins really fooled with the changeup. He was way out in front. And we've not seen Hoskins fooled very much at all here in this series. Changeup running away, caught it off the end of the bat. And you can see just off balance. And he's fooled again. Three straight changeups where this pitch is located, right on the outside corner. And Hoskins almost looks as though he's falling trying to catch that pitch. We've seen him annihilate some fastballs out of here that were inside. Put that changeup, especially after a couple of 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. It's good pitching.
Odubel Herrera struck out and drawn a walk. 2 runs, only 2 hits for the Phillies. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Reds. The big number that stands out on that board in the outfield, though, the left on base. Reds have stranded 9 runners in the first 5 innings of this game.
There's really only one mistake that Harvey made, and that was to Rhys Hoskins. Had a fastball that ran back over the plate. And good hitters do good things when you miss with a pitch. Well, I said that the slider is a work in progress for Peralta. He's thrown 2 very good sliders to Odubel Herrera. That one almost made his helmet come off.
Herrera saying something to Wandy out there on the mound after the helmet did come off.
I think these two have faced each other many times throughout their younger days. Well, the issue for either bullpen now is damage control. This obviously is a close ball game, and 1 or 2 runs may make a difference. See, this is the type of at-bats that we've seen from the Phillies all 3 games. They're able to fight off the pitcher's pitches. I mean, that slider is a good 3 or 4 inches off the plate with some good bite to it. And still, Odubel Herrera able to foul it off. That runs pitch counts up.
Oh, tied him up with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Wow. Peralta looked sharp through the first 2 batters tonight.
When you have to honor the breaking ball, as Herrera did there, and you could see him lunging on the previous pitch. 97 on the inside corner looks like 1,000. And I would imagine for Wandy Peralta, there's a little bit of chip on his shoulder. He doesn't want to go back to Louisville, especially after the year he had last year. And granted, he struggled a little bit in the early part of this year. He wants to pitch in the big leagues, and he knows he's a big league pitcher.
No doubt about that.
Have to make Santana swing the bat.
So for 2 tonight is grounded to second base and fouled out to Suarez at third. And a bouncing ball to the glove side of Peraza, and a 1-2-3 inning, and a good one at that for Wandy. Welcome back to the big leagues. Reds will bat in the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2.
Highlights, hear from players before and after the games, and catch fun moments both on and off the field. Follow us at Fox Sports OH. Also, as part of the Ohio Lottery post-game concert series, chart-topping country singer Jake Owen will perform live from the field on Saturday, August 11th. Everyone with a ticket to the game gets to enjoy the show. One of country music's hottest acts. Purchase your tickets now at Reds.com.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. New pitcher taking over for what has been a sensational Philadelphia bullpen is Tommy Hunter. A major league best 2.38 earned run average in the month of July for the Fightin' Phils. They've only allowed 2 earned runs this bullpen in the last 21 innings. But Hamilton's going to end up at second base on a bouncer off the glove of Franco. That'll be a double for Billy. And he is, of course, the go-ahead run here in the 6th inning.
Slaps it the other way, off the glove. As soon as the ball comes off the glove, well, actually as soon as Hamilton makes contact, he is in high gear. How many base runners can go from a dead stop to full speed like Hamilton? I'm sure there are guys out there that can, but boy, it sure is fun to watch.
So now Peraza, Phillies think he might be up there to bunt. And we've talked about it so many times. Whenever the Reds have asked Peraza to put down a bunt, it's almost like money in the bank. He is really good at it. So they move Hamilton down to third, and now it's up to Scooter in this 2-2 game.
Peraza, he can bunt it whether it's down the third baseline or the first baseline. His execution and technique are textbook. And it's been that way from the time that the Reds got him. And I'm sure it was that way before the Reds got him. We've seen him bunt balls down the third baseline for base hits. There's no throw to first.
All right, infield in again. I mean, the Reds have had runners littered all over the base paths here tonight, and they've only managed to get in 2 of them. One on a single by Hamilton, the other on a double by Barnhart.
That looked like Jeanette was trying to hit some flies or bugs with a couple of swings in. Ouch, that's going to hurt.
Got him on the first pitch, and he pops right up and on his way down to first.
Well, I said that's going to hurt. I forgot it was Jeanette.
That's right. Oh, boy.
It'll leave a nice bruise.
It's like you ever been punched there on the thigh. Man, that hurts. Charlie Orr stuff. But like you said, that Scooter.
Well, when you and I were talking about Chris Spielman and Gamer and bringing it every day, that guy that's standing at first base every day.
Every day. All right, now Votto, the infield, middle infield, will back up to double play depth. Runners on the corners with 1 out. And a line drive off the glove of Hernandez. Scoring is Hamilton on his way to third. And sliding in there safely is Scooter. And Votto with a base hit knocks in his first run on his homestand.
It did not appear that Votto was waiting around long. That ball was crushed. And Hernandez is an awfully good second baseman. That just ate him up.
So Votto's first RBI since the All-Star game. And what a time to get it, breaking a 2-2 tie. Still on the corners.
Who's up?
You know who's up. He went 0 for 2 and a walk, and now a bouncing ball down to third. How about that pickup? And I am stunned he didn't even look at the runner at third. They had no chance to turn a double play. And so Franco goes to second for the force out. The run scores, gives Suarez the RBI. And the Reds now have a 2-run lead.
Well, I think the reason that Franco went to second base is the ball took him that way. Out of the corner of his eye, I think he may have looked, but he definitely had a play at the plate. $80 RBIs now for Eugenio Suarez.
Yep. And we're still in the month of July.
Smoking.
Boy, Williams trying to hit that one to the Commonwealth. Huge swing. And Suarez with the 80 runs batted in, now a 5-run lead over Baez. Arenado's starting to move up the ladder quickly. Williams in the game, a single scored, bounced to second and put down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. Reds break through for a pair here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Giving that one to his little girl. Good for him. And good for her.
You know, I've heard that the Phillies talk about Tommy Hunter being unlucky. 2 balls in this inning off the glove of their infielders. They were rockets. Rockets are not unlucky. They're just not good pitches. You can say, well, it went off my infielder's glove. Well, it went off of his glove because it was hit like a laser.
Some who see the Phillies on a regular basis are pretty confounded by this whole thing with Hunter. I mean, this is one of those where, the influence of sabermetrics on the Philadelphia manager reigns supreme. And the term you do hear over and over sometimes, and you'll hear this about a guy who has a really good year with runners in scoring position. Well, he was lucky. Well, some of the numbers that Kapler and company are looking at, guys are hitting Hunter a little bit. Reds just scored 2 off of him.
Brought to you by Geico. 1993 and 23-year-old Ken Griffey Jr. homers for the 8th straight game. That was a 404-foot shot, number 30 on the season for him at the time. He finished 93 with 45 bombs. Eugenio Suarez sitting at 5, and the Reds hope to get him back to the plate later in this game and get a win.
Well, you got that right, Brian. We're starting the 7th inning. This will be the 8th time this year where Peralta's been asked to go more than just 1 frame. But of course, he's back for the first time since the middle of June here tonight.
Sometimes when you're traded, you have your favorite feeling batting gloves. They're not red. They're Met blue.
And there's just enough hint of blue in this Philadelphia uniform. If you really look on the lettering across the front, there'll be
to make it okay.
Yeah, to make it probably okay. See the stars there and the eye dotting the eye.
He'll have some red ones here pretty soon.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Well, so far so good for Wandy. 4 batters, 4 outs. And now he'll face a left-handed batting Nick Williams. Franco next. Reds a 2-run lead after scoring twice in the 6th inning.
I've seen hitters and pitchers traded. They go to a club. Club is wearing red or orange, and you're wearing blue or pink under your uniform. And the guys in the locker room look at you like, what are you doing? My lucky shirt, bro. That's why I'm doing so good. I'm wearing this shirt every day. Or you put on a pair of shorts underneath your uniform. They look like they should have been thrown away about 17 years ago.
Right.
My lucky shorts, man, they got like a bunch of hits in them.
Better believe it. Better believe it.
There is superstition.
Yes. That one muscled into center field by Williams. And that's a base hit.
That may be the weakest hit that Nick Williams has had in this series, but I guarantee you he will take it because he has hit some lasers.
Well, here comes Jim Riggleman with a right-handed batter coming up. He's going to take Peralta out of the game. I think he has Sal Romano coming into the game. We're back in a moment. Coming off an outstanding start 3 days ago, 6 strong innings. And he's due to start again on Wednesday in Detroit with Sal Romano.
More than likely just looking for a couple of outs here, maybe one pitch to get 2 outs.
Romano pitched the final game of the Cardinals series, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs in his first start in quite a while. He was passed over, you may remember, leading up to the All-Star break, pitched the game out of the bullpen. So after Franco calls timeout, he's back in there. Strike one.
That is a money pitch. Hard slider right at the bottom of the strike zone, right on the outside corner.
Comes right back with a fastball at 94 to get ahead of Franco at 0-2. Amir Garrett throwing in the bullpen, Brian.
Yeah, Tom, this afternoon when we talked to Jim Riggleman, he hadn't spoken to Garrett yet, but we talked to Garrett in the clubhouse, and he said he was hopefully available tonight. He said after his Achilles calmed down some last night, he felt good and said he was familiar with that injury from his basketball days and said he would be good to go today.
It's good news. Good to hear.
It's like Roman Quinn has moved out into the on deck circle. That first pitch, hard slider for a strike. If you're a hitter, you have to have that in the back of your mind. And the fastballs that Romano has thrown in on the hands of Franco, he's had a tough time getting to them. Now, if you come with a slider here 2-2, you want to get the out. You want to make contact, an action pitch. The last thing you want is to go 3-2 here.
He got the action on it. They get one and they will get two to end the inning.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. That's the action all you need. Nice job by Romano. Yes, applause indeed.
And that is some kind of relief right there. You had to honor the slider. That one actually backed up a little bit. But the bottom line, folks, is just results.
Let's get her done. Fastball away to Tucker Barnhart. Couple of changes made for the Phillies. Start in the infield, and then we'll get to the new pitcher. Guy that's been playing shortstop for him regularly until today anyway, Kingery. Now it's short. Cabrera over to second base. And a new pitcher is on the mound. Yaxel Rios replacing Hunter, who gave up the tie-breaking runs. And there's a 4-pitch walk. Talking about how good this bullpen has been. They have been really, really good. But tonight they get 2 off Tommy Hunter. You know, we were starting to talk the last inning a little bit about Hunter and Gabe Kapler and his belief that that Hunter's just had bad luck this year. And look, he's entitled to that opinion, and there are some of the numbers inside the numbers, and you know, the sabermetrics end of thing is a very useful tool for many of the people in baseball today. There's no debate about it. And it cannot be argued the job that Kapler has done this year. I mean, his team is in first place, and they may have been the worst team in Major League Baseball last year.
But there is
We're just repeating with some of the people who see the team play on a regular basis that there have been certain instances where Kapler firmly believes that the numbers tell the entire story as you start getting into the more sabermetrics ends of the numbers. Not so much the ERA, not so much the batting average against Hunter. But his earned run average is over 5 in the league, 290 against him.
He's given up runs.
That's right. And so,
he's given up critical runs.
So
I would rather have 3 line drive outs than a guy that goes out and is giving up runs every time he goes to the mound.
So, you know, no one's sitting here in any form or fashion being critical of Gabe Kapler. I mean, who would be to sit up here when he's in his first year ever managing a Major League Baseball team? And look, he had a couple of major bumps in the road the first week of the season, called for a pitcher down in the bullpen that wasn't even warming up, had some of his own players that have been openly critical of some of his decisions on who's playing, who's sitting. Jake Arrieta was very critical about the Phillies and their shifting and the way they're playing defense. But when all is said and done, as we sit here in the final days of July, whether you agree or disagree with anything that has to do with sabermetrics and managing by those numbers, the bottom line is they have the second best record in the National League. That's the bottom line.
But my question would be, if you are in the 7th game of the World Series and you are tied at 2-2 in the 9th inning, are you going to bring on a guy that his sabermetrics look great, but you say, well, he's just been unlucky? Are you going to bring him in the ball game when the whole season is on the line?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Well, he may have a chance to answer that question directly when all is said and done, because as it stands right now, the Chicago Cubs are the only team in the National League that have a better winning percentage than Mr. Kapler's Philadelphia Phillies.
This game, more times than not, is riding the hot hand. And your sabermetrics and your analytics and all the things that you do number-wise may look really ugly. But if you've had 9 or 10 in a row where you've thrown the ball outstanding or you've hit outstanding, I'm going with you, partner. And probably in defense of Gabe Kapler, he realizes Tommy Hunter could play a big part for him down the stretch. So he's trying to continue to be positive, trying to keep Hunter in a positive atmosphere and try to move him in the right direction. And that's what managers are supposed to do.
Phillip Urban, a check swing foul ball when Urban has had a chance to play, and that's infrequently here over the last couple of days again, with Williams in the lineup and Jim Riggleman staying with Duvall and Hamilton. So he sat the last couple of games, but his last 5 games, 6 hits and 15 at bats. That's a .400 batting average with 4 runs batted in, and played very well on defense. He started all the games in the Cardinals series. Fly ball center field. This will be the second out. Herrera is there, and Barnhart stays put. 2 down.
Rios has got a little giddy up on that fastball. The last 2 pitches, 99 and 98. Don't swing hard, just be quick. Let the velocity of the pitcher help you get it on the barrel of the bat.
One ball and 1 strike on Billy. He's had a couple of hits tonight. Had a big 2-out RBI to tie the game at 2 in the 4th inning on a single in the right center, then doubled off the glove of Franco, setting up the 2-run 6th inning. Fly ball short left, and the Reds are gone in the 7th inning. Off to the 8th. Reds in front of Philadelphia, 4-2.
Live pregame presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. We're back at the ballpark tomorrow afternoon for the series finale between the Reds and Phils. Zach Eflin with good numbers for Philly goes tomorrow afternoon, and Luis Castillo, coming off a 1-run, 5-strikeout performance against the Cardinals, gets the start for the Redlegs. Reds live at 12:30. First pitch right around 1 o'clock. Hope you'll join us for the final game of the series tomorrow afternoon.
Well, first things first, we are set to begin the 8th inning. Amir Garrett injured in the game here last night. His left Achilles strained.
Of course, at the time that happened, we thought it was the right foot where it hit the bag.
He will be facing 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. That will be Kingery, and I would imagine we'll see a pinch hitter for Knapp. No, he's down there. Knapp is a switch hitter. They have available the backup or the regular catcher, Alfaro. They have Plouffe, who is a right-handed batter, and then Quinn. One ball and 2 strikes on Kingery, who started at short the first 2 games of this series and now finds himself on the bench with the arrival of Asdrubal Cabrera. Kingery went 1 of 2 of 5 last night, or in the first game of the series, I beg your pardon. And last night, he went 1 for 4, so 3 hits in the first 2 games.
Well, it does not appear there is any residual effect on the left Achilles for Amir Garrett. Where Sal Romano came in and did an outstanding job.
On swinging Kingery. And why did he look good tonight?
Yes, he did.
Looked very good.
Looked like his old self.
Sure did.
The old high hard one. Tough to catch a 96-mile-an-hour heater well above the strike zone. Those high fastballs look awfully good because they're close to your eyes. You're thinking fastball all the way. You start your swing, and it's in the mitt by the time you start your swing.
So it will be Knapp. Only a 174 batter from the right side of the plate. Knapp goes through his entire routine between every pitch. He fixes both batting gloves. He fixes that thumb guard. You'll see it now. So take a look. Oh, you won't see it because he got hit by the pitch.
Back foot slider. Well, looked like it caught the front foot.
Yeah. Are they going to?
So
they're going to replay it.
Reds may challenge this. Evidently, they are challenging it. Of course, earlier, ball missed the batter by about 3 or 4 inches. That one looked like it got the foot, at least to me anyway. Top of the shoelace. You never know. That's one of those ones where you really have to slow it down and see exactly where the ball went. I didn't see the pants move. I didn't see the pants move on the back leg. I didn't see any kind of shoelace move on the front. But in live action, it looked like it hit him on the front foot.
And the call stands, so he will be rewarded with a trip to first. So now we go to Cesar Hernandez, another switch hitting. Pretty much equal right down the line. 270 right-handed, 268 left-handed for Cesar Hernandez.
Of course, when you hear the call stands, that means they really can't decipher whether it was one way or the other. Confirm, yeah. Overturn, well, we all know about that.
Beautiful bunt, and this will be a hit. No chance to throw out Hernandez.
Great speed. And Garrett got off the mound rather well. Got to the baseball, turned and threw a bullet to first. But even with a great play by Garrett, that kid can run.
I think we're going to have another pitching change.
I think we may see, yeah, there he is.
Yep, Jared sprinting in. We're back in a moment. Hoskins, this guy's done some major damage. StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Third home run of this series for Hoskins, and we're in the third game. 21 of them on the year.
Hoskins likes the ball in. Jared Hughes throws the ball in, but it has a bit of sink to it.
Reds leading by 2, 2 on, 1 out. Down and in. Hoskins has faced Hughes twice. 0 for 2. with 1 strikeout. Jared got 2 outs, allowed a base runner, and was taken out of the game last night by Jim Riggleman. Peraza, and this will be a double play. What a pick by the Red shortstop. So Romano gets 2, and now Hughes gets 2. Look at Peraza. How sweet is that?
You can bet a pretty large percentage of the crowd will join Joel, myself, and Jeff Pecora with the post-game set. Reds Live post-game presented by Performance Kings Honda. Great place to start your post-game as you wait for Walk the Moon to get set up on the field if you're in the ballpark. But Reds Live post-game after each and every home game at the ballpark, that's the place to be. But look at this place tonight, guys. It's been fun.
Has been fun. They're waiting on you, Brian.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, they're waiting on you.
They're sticking around for the concert. I do know that.
Well, but the concert's not in the condominium.
That's where the party is.
That's exactly right. Left-hander, and the only left-hander in this Philadelphia bullpen is Austin Davis. He takes over on the mound.
Got some pretty good numbers for only his 15th appearance. 24 strikeouts and 17 1/3 innings. Hadn't walked a whole lot of folks either.
Now, I would have thought this would be an area that the Phillies would address at the deadline, and they might. When you're playing in the kind of games they're going to be playing in here over the final 2+ months of the season, having just one guy down there, you'd like to balance that out a little more if you can. And, you know, and who knows if anybody's available.
Well, they normally have Adam Morgan, but he's on paternity leave.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. A guy with some experience. But left-handers with experience, man, you're talking about tough to come by.
No doubt about it. But when you start, you know, especially when you start looking, and again, it's something we got into last night. You know, when you get there, what do you need to be a team that can win the pennant? And if you're going to beat the Chicago Cubs, and you know, I'm not assuming
you got to
they're
have a left-hander.
You got to have a really good left-hander in the bullpen, and really more than one. because the Cubs are a lot like this Phillies team. They'll make you work, especially when you get into postseason. They'll have longer at bats, stretched out at bats. Starters start to wear down. You're in October.
And we talked about Suarez. He's the first left-handed starter they've had in forever.
Yeah.
And he started the season in Double-A. Now, he threw the ball pretty well the other night. But you wonder how a young pitcher will take that and handle it as he moves on when things really start to get tight. And they will get tight.
And look, baseball's littered with guys who have been around forever that couldn't handle the pressure, and you would think they'd be able to handle it, just like there have been a lot of young guys who have come out of nowhere and nobody thought they could do it, and they did it. So he might be that guy. Peraza, a fly ball in the deep left field and off the end of the glove of Hoskins. Well, I thought Peraza there had a chance at a 3-base hit.
I thought it was
leading
a home
off an
run.
inning. Probably not.
Home run when it came off the bat. Well, let's go even closer to that, going back to our conversation about winning the pennant. Nick Markakis, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Right. So now Scooter Gennett, that one out of the reach of a leaping Hoskins. Peraza, another 2-hit night, 2 more doubles. He's been on base 3 times. And now this ball driven into right center. This will find a gap and bring in another run. It is 5-2 Cincinnati. Scooter, an RBI double.
Looked like a pitch up, a breaking ball up, and Gennett did not miss it. He hit it right on the barrel. And Nick Williams has good speed in right field. I don't think a cheetah could have run that down.
No. And you know what that means is with the Reds batting here in the 8th inning and the first 2 getting on, it means Suarez is going to have one more shot
Against the left-hander. Place might go nuts.
So now Joey, he had the big base hit, his second of the game, when he broke the tie with a base hit, a rocket off the glove of the second baseman Cesar Hernandez.
And it was a rocket.
First RBI for Joey since playing in the All-Star game in D.C. And tonight is what, the 9th game? Yeah, 9th game of this homestand. One more to go tomorrow. Reds going to be gone quite a while. They'll be gone till almost the middle of August. Mix in a couple of off days. And Votto with his 3rd hit of the night. This will bring in another run. Scooter will score. And the Reds kicking the door down now, 6-2. Votto 3 hits and 2 knocked in tonight. A welcome sight. All right, so here comes Suarez. Everybody knows what's going on here. He's homered in 5 straight games, which ties the franchise record. No Red has ever done it 6 in a row. And you know he wants it. His team with a 4-run lead. He is 0 for 3 in the game. He's drawn a walk. Drove in a run with a fielder's choice. Strike 2, fastball in the inside corner. Tough pitch.
Up right at the hands. Not a pitch you really want to swing at.
So the streak will come to an end. Peraza bounces into a double play. But 5 games in a row with a home run for Eugenio Suarez. I'm wondering if the Reds are going to leave Hughes in the game at this point. It's obviously not a save situation. He only faced one batter and he got a double play.
And I think they probably will, especially with the day game tomorrow. The fact that Iglesias pitched more than 1 inning yesterday, inning in the third, but still he had to go sit back down, come back out.
It was a long inning in the third.
Yeah.
Because they sent a lot of, they scored a run against him there in the 9th inning. And, at the same time, you give Hughes a chance to pick up a save.
Thank you.
Of course, Jared was the closer when Iglesias was on the disabled list, and that's when the Reds were winning seemingly every night. He picked up 6 saves right now. So if he's given a chance and there's nobody getting loose in the bullpen, it would be his 7th. Right now, Peralta is the pitcher of record for the Reds. Matt Harvey pitched very well tonight. And Cowboy, I want to ask you, when we come back in the top of the 9th inning, a question for you, Cowboy, to think about. Is tonight the final time we've seen Matt Harvey in a Reds uniform? We'll be back in a moment. Save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Toyota for over 30 offers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. All right, this will be the 4th time this year Jared Hughes came on in the 8th inning, and they just left him on to pitch a 9th and try and nail it down. It would be a 7th save. Reds with a 4-run lead. Jared came on to get that double play off the bat of Rhys Hoskins, ending the 8th inning. So now he'll face Herrera, Santana, and Cabrera. Pirates finish off the Mets tonight 5-0. So the Pirates, they had ripped off, 11 in a row? lost a couple, and now they've won back-to-back games, and they're 6 games back of the Cubs, who lost earlier today. Brewers not wasting any time, jumping on the Giants 3-0. Cowboy, what did you think of that move very quickly made by the Brewers acquiring Mike Moustakas?
I thought it was very interesting because I thought that Travis Shaw was doing well at third base, but I think what the Brewers want is more production from their middle infielders, and they're going to play Travis Shaw at second base. And I think that's what they're looking at. They want to be able to outscore the opponent. That's really what that comes down to.
If I were a betting man, I would have bet a lot of money, and I said this a month and a half ago, one of the few times I think it actually ended up turning out this way. I think the Brewers were in a situation where they said, all right, we're either going to go get a starting pitcher.
Right. You're right on the
money. And it's
money.
got to be a really, really, really good one. We're not going to settle and taking nothing away from Cole Hamels or some Jay Happ, guys like that. I mean, I'm talking dominant guys. You know, and if we don't get that, we love our bullpen. Our starters are going 5, 6 anyway, and then we just run out that bullpen in the postseason. You get off days every couple of games to get those guys back. And I think they made the decision that we're going to go try to outslug some teams now.
I think that's the way it is. Now the key will be the production for Moustakas. He will have to swing the bat, and if he does that, they'll be all right.
Because it is a step back defensively with Shaw moving to second base.
I would agree with that.
It's a big, big step back. He is not a second baseman, but you know,
he can rake.
Yeah, he can hit. Although he's been in and out of Craig Counsell's doghouse from time to time this year, and so we'll see how that plays out. The other question I asked you before going to break, do you believe this will be the last time we saw Matt Harvey pitch for the Cincinnati Reds?
Well, after I saw the velocity tonight and the way that he dominated some of these hitters in this lineup, this is first place club, I would say yes.
Hot smash down to the bottom. Very nice play, and down to the final out of the game for the Fighting Phils. Reds have out hit them 11-4. Reds have left 11 men on base. Phillies only 3.
(97-98) tonight. Granted, it was only on a couple of pitches, but Harvey threw the ball awfully well. He really threw the ball well. Made one mistake tonight. A lot of hitters. That might be a double or maybe a single. He just happened to make the mistake to Reese Hopkins.
Line drive right field. This will do it. Reds win. Crowd better than 35,000 here tonight, and after dropping the series opener to the Phillies, the Reds have taken it to the leaders in the National League East, winning back-to-back games. Final count of 6-2. We'll be back with more at Great American Ballpark in a moment.